So for the past few months, I've been using my CM Storm Quickfire TK with Cherry MX Blues, and I've loved it. But my family members haven't loved it quite as much because it's pretty loud. So I needed something that was quieter but still mechanical, and I couldn't afford a high-end name brand keyboard. So I purchased the Velocifire Vmo1 keyboard with brown switches. But is it worth it? Hey guys, it's Charles from Tech Always. Let's get right into it. So I want to start this off by talking about the box that this keyboard comes in. You have a pretty standard plain box with Velocifire Vmo1 printed on it. Inside you get the keyboard with a small ring-style keycap puller and a small manual with instructions such as plug it in. Surprisingly, there's a metal backplate, which I did not expect in such a budget-oriented keyboard, but it's very welcome as it adds some much-needed weight to the board. But getting back to the design, it's actually very nice. Looking around the keyboard, it has a nice minimalistic design and would easily fit in an office setting. On the front, you have a rounded edge that isn't big enough to give wrist support, and I would have liked to see a wrist rest even if it's just a plastic one. On the sides, you can see it sloped towards the bottom of the keyboard. The back is empty except for the off-center, non-removable, non-braided cable that terminates in a USB. Moving to the front of the keyboard, you'll see that the keycaps actually have a reasonable looking font, unlike a lot of other budget keyboards on the market. But while these keycaps are double shot, they still feel cheap as they are ABS. What did impress me was that in this price range they were still able to include a full number pad, while most of this board's competitors are 10 keyless. Above the number pad, there are LEDs to indicate number lock, caps lock, and Windows lock. Speaking of LEDs, this keyboard has full backlighting. On each key switch you have a small turquoise or teal LED. While the light shines through the keycaps fine, because the backplate is black, not much of the light reflects off it, so the LEDs are easily distinguishable. You do get a few options for the LEDs which are controlled on the keyboard and there is no software. First off, you have 3 brightness levels, off, low, and high. You have 3 lighting modes, a solid, breathing, a wave mode where the LEDs go through the keys, going both up and down, and finally a stacking mode similar to the wave, but the LEDs work their way up the keyboard as the rows finish until everything is lit and it resets. This one also has both up and down options. Let's go into the most important part of a keyboard, the switches. While most budget mechanical keyboards use knockoff blue switches, this board uses knockoff cherry browns, specifically Zorro brown switches. These feel like a mix of cherry browns and cherry reds. While I do have a silent bump that you find in browns, it's not as prominent as a cherry counterpart, making them feel almost like reds. Being such a small and unknown brand as Zorro, I couldn't find any of the actual specs on these switches, such as travel distance, actuation force, and that's what made me kind of guess it's in between the browns and the reds. The biggest difference between these and a high quality cherry switch, which I also find to be the biggest disadvantage to this keyboard, is that the keys feel scratchy as you push them down. While feeling isn't on every switch, on about half the switches when being pressed you can feel the switch scratching on its casing. While it's hard to describe, as soon as you feel it you notice it. It doesn't have the same smooth travel as a high-end cherry switch. This, along with the bump being so small, makes the experience with this keyboard not great. But now let's get into the typing tests to hear how these switches actually sound. So from that typing test you can tell that while not quite as loud as Cherry MX Blues, the key switches are still pretty loud. And overall, I would not recommend this keyboard. The switches just don't feel that good considering how much you're paying, when you could pay $10 to $20 more and get something with authentic Cherry switches. Or even pay a little bit less and get something like the 10 keyless version of this keyboard. If you like this video, be sure to like it. If you didn't, be sure to leave a comment down below as to why and I'll try and fix it for the next video. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want notifications on when I upload, be sure to hit that bell next to the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Bye.